It's not letting me go live. There we go. They weren't going to let us go live.
Yeah, so weird.
We are being prevented from liveage.
So rude.
So are you excited to talk about this movie?
I am. I love this movie.
It's one of the great fantasy films ever made.
True.
Although I have a question.
What?
Is this a Christmas movie?
This is absolutely a Christmas
I know,
movie.
it's supposed to be the Christmassy of the most Christmassy movies ever, but is it really?
It's pretty Christmassy.
Well, we're going to have to discuss it.
Yeah.
Compare and contrast it with Die Hard, perhaps? Maybe.
Hilarious.
Could be. Could very well be. You know, it's your music. You know, it's your music still playing.
Oh, well, why'd you do that?
I put your music that you made underneath this opening thing. It's your music.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. Uh-oh. Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, and your sommelier of cinema, who apparently couldn't put his Iron Man box away before we started the show.
I know, it's like looming.
Looming. But if you saw it today, well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You said to me we were going to do fully articulated, and the first thing I was going to open was that.
You know, that actually wasn't going to be the first thing you were going to open.
That's what you told me.
First
of all, you told me it was going to be this one, and then you opened it, and then you told me it was going to be this one, and you opened it.
There's no way that you could. Even I had a hard time opening this. If you'd opened it, I would have had a heart attack.
All I'm saying is you told me I would be opening that.
I understand. So we're doing It's a Wonderful Life. It's episode 105 of Whining About Movies.
105.
Can you believe it? 105? We were going to do other Christmas movies, but we're still busy craziness happening.
Yeah, a lot of craziness happening in here.
A lot of craziness. We might be dying.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you know what we can do? I always prefer to be liquored up when we're facing certain doom and Christmas. So, Beaujolais Nouveau.
How about you change the camera?
Oh, right.
So we can stop looking at this.
So I can stop looking at that big styrofoam. It's pretty cool, though. We got Beaujolais Nouveau. Look at that lovely Beaujolais Nouveau. The first wine of the harvest.
Yeah.
That's what it's... Are we harvesting? 2020. Beaujolais Nouveau. Well, you can't even see it because the things... There you go. Beaujolais Nouveau. Is this a Trader Joe's special?
This is a Whole Foods special.
Oh, so it costs like 5 times as much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Beaujolais Nouveau
but,
it is.
You know, Whole Foods is the only place that I can have the groceries delivered.
Right, because now we can't go into the grocery store because we might be contagious.
Yeah, we can't go anywhere.
Can't go anywhere. That's a lot of fun.
And I'm dying to get some Trader Joe's food up in here.
I know. I like Trader Joe's food, too. But before that, let's drink to Frank Capra's 1946 masterpiece, It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful
movie
Life.
that did not do well when it was first released.
True.
So... This movie takes place in Bedford Falls.
Aren't you going to try your wine?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was just too excited to talk about this film. It's very nice. It's very Beaujolais-y.
It's refreshing.
It is. Beaujolais. So this movie, Christmas Eve, starts on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, Christmas Eve and
in 1945 in Bradford Falls, Mary. It's Bradford Falls.
That's a good impression.
You like that?
I am impressed.
Bradford Falls. Wow. And Mr. George Bailey, perhaps one of the most famous protagonists in any movie.
Yes.
Mr. George Bailey is not having a good time.
He is not happy.
He's contemplative of taking his own life.
He is.
A lot of things going wrong.
Yeah, he's ready to do it.
Yep. But there's somebody, there's something, some entity looking out for old George Bailey.
Yes, he is. Clarence is charged with saving his life, and if he does, he gets his wings.
Now, here's the interesting thing that I find about this movie as a Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. While the theme, it's very akin to like Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
Exactly.
The ghosts of Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas future.
Yeah.
Ebenezer Scrooge learns about his life from the ghosts.
Right.
And I feel that this movie had to have been inspired. I mean, I'm sure it was. I don't exactly know.
Yeah, I totally think it was.
But George Bailey, you know, he's a much nicer human being than Ebenezer Scrooge is.
True.
And the thing about Ebenezer Scrooge is he learns not to be a Scrooge anymore.
Right.
You know, whereas this movie, George Bailey is a man of circumstance. He's a good man, though.
He is, but he's so down about his life circumstances that he feels like he's let the whole town down, basically,
right.
And his family and everything. So he's ready to let go. He thinks the world will be better off without him, but he is mistaken.
Well, he is mistaken. And what I really like about this film, as far as like fantasy, you know, I love science fiction, fantasy, and horror, but one of the great things, like my favorite comic book of all time is The Sandman. Mm-hmm. And the way people's lives, I don't know why I equate it to The Sandman, but the way people's lives unfurl, the road less traveled, sliding doors, you know, the theme of the road less traveled, it happens a lot in movies. Mm-hmm. And so the idea behind it really is an idea that is a founding principle of this YouTube channel. You know, everybody you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear. So George Bailey is a man that he hasn't recognized his own value.
Right.
And so when we have Clarence Oddbody, what's his name? It's
Oddbody.
Well, it is Oddbody with one D. Oddbody. Clarence, what do I know? I'm a Jew. So Clarence Oddbody he has to look into George Bailey's life.
He does.
And I find it very interesting. You see different points in, like, George Bailey he stops the pharmacist from accidentally poisoning one of his charges. You know, it's an accident, but George Bailey prevents that from happening.
Right.
So there's all of these things that George Bailey has done throughout his life that he doesn't recognize as being valuable because you don't know. You don't see the results of your actions.
Right. Yeah.
So he doesn't have any understanding of this. And I think that this idea and that the angel is looking back on his life, you know, and gets to see a life.
Yeah, like when he saves his brother from drowning and loses his hearing in one ear. You know, and he goes through all these events in his life.
Well, and also because like George can't go to World War II because
he lost his hearing when he saved his brother's life.
But then when because of that, his brother goes on to become a Navy pilot.
Yes.
Who then saves a kamikaze plane from destroying a ship.
Right.
So the things that happen in his life, and I think that's a really important lesson. But the real question that I have for you is that Christmas? Like the whole thing, the idea of the story of Jesus.
You argue that Die Hard is Christmas because there's a Christmas tree, and yet this is all about Christmas. This is like the Christmas season. It's about you know, redemption. It's about, you know, everything Christmassy.
Okay, how is the story of a man's redemption a Christmas story?
Because
I'm just saying, I'm playing devil's advocate here. This movie is one of the most, I think, of all the movies ever made, other than like Miracle on 34th Street, which actually has a Santa Claus in it. You know, which to arguably, I mean, that's about Christmas, but whatever the Christmas spirit is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if we're talking Christmas spirit, I guess this is what Christmas is all about. But is Christmas really all about the value of yourself? I mean, it's not about like George Bailey's discovering the value of everything else, or maybe he is. I mean, by the end of the film,
I mean, he's got like 8 kids and a wife, and
yeah, but shouldn't he already? Because of that, he should know how much he's loved. Look, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, because like everyone just immediately associates this movie with Christmas, and I think that like the story of a man's redemption and an understanding of how valuable your life is a story that isn't necessarily confined to Christmas. Like this story, if it was not set around Christmas time, if this was set in the dead of summer, you could tell this exact same story, and it could still be just as valuable and just as resonant, don't you think?
Well, I mean, there are angels. I mean, there's an angel in this. That's all part of Christmas.
Angels are a part of Christmas?
Yes. Yes.
Were they there when Jesus was born in the manger?
Yes.
There were angels there.
Yes.
I thought there were like 3 wise men.
There were 3 wise men. There were angels. There were, yeah.
But they were watching the Son of God being born.
Yes.
So now just because there's angels...
And back to your comment about being a Jew, angels are part of the Jewish faith. There's angels throughout the Old Testament.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, I understand that. There's a lot of stuff in the Old Testament, but I'm like, it's not all Christmassy. There's no Christmas in the Old Testament, babe.
Because
it hasn't happened yet.
Christmas is the birth of Jesus.
I understand, but in the Old Testament, which is way better than the sequel.
I don't know.
More action-packed, a lot more sex and violence.
There's a lot of sex and
I'm all about the Old Testament. The New Testament, like Alex DeLarge and A Clockwork Orange, it's all like preachy talk.
Yeah.
He liked it better when people were getting onto the handmaidens' beds with each other. Come on.
Yeah, but there was a lot of punishment, too.
Well, there was. A lot of wrath of God. There's not so much wrath of God.
A lot of wrath.
Yeah, there is. So the story of George Bailey is, it's an interesting tale to watch. All of these. He runs up with people like he owes a debt, and the debt is not going to be forgiven. And there's all of these things that...
Well, his uncle loses the money. He wraps it up in the newspaper and somehow it gets lost. And people are scared, so they start taking out all their money. And George doesn't know what to do. And he gives his own money to fix it. And it's a big disaster. It
is a big disaster. But I think that the central theme of this movie, I still come back to that. And this angel has to show George Bailey his life. Like, this is your life, George Bailey, and this is what did happen.
He shows him how much he has helped humanity.
Right, he does.
And that he's valuable and he should not die.
Well, right, but the things that he shows him that are valuable are not like, he doesn't give somebody $1 million. The actions that he did echo with his brother. He thinks something had happened that was bad, losing his hearing, so he couldn't serve in World War II. That might have been, it weighed heavily on him. Like, I never amounted to what I could amount to because I never got to go fight. Whereas my brother, as a pilot, prevented the deaths of many, many sailors.
Right.
But really, it was George Bailey's, what happened to him that allowed his brother to leave. And I find that, like, it's always an interesting story, because we, obviously, as people, when you watch this movie, you immediately start thinking, well, what have I done? Like, I think I'm kind of a schlep rock, that I've never amounted to much. But when you watch the story of George Bailey confronting and seeing, and have through the angels' eyes, like, the angels are the only ones that can see, both sides and make that decision. So I've always found this, from a fantasy standpoint, what great fantasy filmmaking or a great fantasy story, it's not just Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings. A great fantasy story uses essentially magic to show you it gives you insight into humanity. And I think this story, what's really important about this story is it shows all of us that there are things we're even unaware of that have ramifications that reach beyond the moment, and sometimes years and years they resonate.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that in a way, I guess that's a Christmas message.
It is.
But is it?
Come on,
I mean, I know, but I only ask that because I wonder if, everyone says, well, just because a movie takes place at Christmas doesn't make it a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
but it seems to me that this movie...
This is more than just taking place at Christmas.
It's got angels in it, too.
Angels, but also, like, this guy, he redeems his life and shows him all the things that he's done to help his...
Yeah, but is that what I'm saying is, what I'm curious about, is that a Christmas story?
Yes.
I mean, couldn't you have told this redemption story at any time? I mean, because obviously this movie, I think of all the movies ever made, this movie is the most associated with Christmas now.
Yeah.
And it's called It's a Wonderful Life.
Right. the angel shows him that he has a wonderful life.
But again, isn't that a little selfish?
Selfish.
As far as a Christmas message is concerned, it's not like help your fellow man.
But he does. That's the thing. That's why he's redeemed.
But
because
he already did help his fellow man. Like,
but he will continue. He's that kind of person. He will continue to help humanity.
Well, right, but he always. It's just he just hasn't realized it.
He hasn't realized.
He hasn't realized it. So basically, this movie exists so heaven itself is going to help George Bailey realize how valuable he is to himself. Like if you think about it.
Okay. He was about to kill himself.
He was.
Okay, so he was stopped from doing that because he will continue to help the people in his life. Because that's the kind of person he is.
I agree. So heaven,
it's not a selfish
heaven has
thing.
to intervene, though. Heaven has to. Well, the problem is, I'm just saying that this movie's always kind of struck me as being a little strange because when you look at it, yeah, because the story's great. I love the story, but the idea that they tie it to Christmas, basically, heaven intervenes when this man's going to kill himself because he's a good man. Heaven knows he's a good man,
right?
But he doesn't. So it's like ultimately at the end of the day, someone has to reach out and help him. Like heaven, literally. Like what about all the other people that didn't get George Bailey's treatment? I mean, are the angels looking down on every other yo-yo that's going to kill themselves on Christmas? Because that's when a lot of people do it.
Maybe.
But only George Bailey. Only a Brentford.
Well, you don't know that. They're just showing his story. Maybe angels help other good people.
Well, that could be. I mean, basically, you've got an angel switchboard up there, and there's one angel that talks to another. There's a hierarchy going on.
There is.
But I do find when George Bailey travels through the world that doesn't exist, that he doesn't exist in that world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost dystopian in a way. It's like this dark.
It is dark.
Bedford Falls, Mary, is like a den of iniquity.
Yeah.
It's not
all because he was missing.
All because he was missing. But again, from a story standpoint, I mean, that makes George Bailey one important dude.
He is an important dude.
So it's like wish fulfillment for all of us. When I watch this movie, I go, I wonder if I've affected people's lives like George Bailey. It makes me look inward and wonder if heaven, if I was going to try and off myself, would heaven intervene? Would heaven step?
I would intervene.
Well, yeah, but you wouldn't know.
I would suspect.
Well, I don't know. You do strike me as being the suicidal type.
No.
Yeah, you think I'm gonna leave all this shit behind? Come on, man.
No.
I haven't spent all year building, or all my entire life collecting all this garbage.
You're not gonna die because there are so many more movies you need to see and stuff
I know.
like that.
I know.
All those Star Wars shows coming out, man.
MCU movies.
The rest of The Expanse.
I know. After that 4th episode, that was epic.
Come on, you're not going anywhere.
But I mean, that's the thing. I find the message of this movie interesting in terms of how it relates to Christmas.
Yeah.
Because you would think that, like, if this were a Christmas movie, I would think it would be George Bailey.
It is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it is. I know. It's the ultimate Christmas movie. But George Bailey, I know he's the one that needs to be helped. And I guess you could say that the angels themselves are the Christmas spirit.
Well, I mean, Christmas really is about the birth of Jesus. And Jesus saves humanity. So basically, this is like a smaller version of that.
Well, that's interesting. So do you find this, I mean, obviously this movie is religious because it has angels in it.
And it's Christmas. We forget Christmas is about the birth of Jesus.
Yeah, but what does the birth of Jesus have to do with George Bailey?
Because they're just showing a smaller example of...
No, I know. And I think the idea is that if you live a good life, if you're truly a good person and you do what you can, heaven helps those who help themselves, and apparently not. And even when you're going to help yourself to death, as George Bailey.
Preach, Liz.
I mean, to me, it's always been the whole story. I love the storyline.
They don't know I was married to a preacher.
You were married to a preacher. What was that like? Did you ever feel that heaven was going to send angels down for you guys?
To save me.
That's what I did.
Anyway.
Well, actually, I didn't. You saved yourself.
I did.
See, you did. You saved yourself. That was pretty good.
I did.
But no, I mean, I do. I love the characters in this movie. I love Donna Reed in this movie, and
yeah, she's wonderful.
All the names. I mean, you go through all the characters that you meet in this movie. I mean, Mary, Mr. Henry F. Potter, Lionel Barrymore as Henry F. Potter, so good, and Claire, well, the angel.
Yeah, Clarence is awesome. I love that guy. He's a great actor, and I really enjoy that character. I think he's wonderful.
Well, it's also like, if you want to believe that if heaven is real, that these anthropomorphized dudes, these angels are up there, and they have really interesting conversations. Like, I like the way the depiction of heaven in movies.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for any time you get to see the afterlife, from What Dreams May Come to Defending Your Life to this movie, to my ultimate favorite, one of my favorite movies ever made about angels is Wim Wenders' Wings of Desire.
Oh, I've never seen that.
It's so good.
Really?
Yeah, and the thing is, but the difference is, the angels in Wings of Desire cannot interfere. As a matter of fact,
yeah,
they stand by. They all they can do is put their hands on you. There's scenes where people do kill themselves, and the angels scream to heaven,
which is more biblical, I think.
Well, yeah, because the angels can't intervene.
They can't intervene.
As like we all know that. It's like, let me tell you about the rules of time travel. Let me tell you how angels act. I completely understand how the angels are supposed to act in this movie. I mean, it's how, but the story is irresistible. Like, when George Bailey goes through and sees the world, as it was without him, what's interesting is that the world has more sin in it. There's like nightclubs. Right. There's a lot more ways for people to get in trouble.
Debauchery.
Yeah, and I find that really, really interesting that was how they chose to depict the world. I mean, without George Bailey,
this was made in what, 1946?
It came out in 46.
Yeah, I mean, things were pretty defined, black and white.
Yeah, and when he's seen all this, like when George Bailey comes back and he's at the bridge. And he's got the moment of doubt and pain, as Mick Jagger sang about. I mean, that was actually when Christ was crucified. But George Bailey's having his own moment of doubt and pain. And then after he's seen this, he begs for his life. He begs for...
Right.
And the great moment when he runs, he's through Bedford Falls.
I know. Look, I just got goosebumps.
He runs through the town. I mean, it's one of the great moments in cinema history. And this movie, by the way, was not successful when it came out.
No.
It was rediscovered, and Frank Capra thinks it's his best movie.
But it was nominated for 5 Academy Awards.
Yeah, it was.
So they knew it was a good movie.
Well, yeah, no, it's a great movie with great performances, and I think the storyline, especially in 46, when you watch this, it's not. We live in a world where stories about, I mean, you watch, hey, Lucifer is a show on Netflix now. It was a network show.
Right.
And, it's about the devil and American gods. You've got all the pantheon of gods walking around the earth. So the idea... It'd
be interesting to remake this movie. What would it be?
Well, I mean, if you remade it, I think you'd have to remake it. I'm sure it has in certain respects. I mean, there's a lot of movies that cover this ground.
I'm sure it has influenced many movies.
Mm. No, it's influenced so many movies. I mean, the whole idea of like the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
I mean, that this is sort of the first movie that explores fate and how one decision you make can affect, and you could be a totally different person.
Right.
And they've had other movies like the Gwyneth Paltrow film I said it before, Sliding Doors.
Right.
Mr. Nobody, the movie I love, where you see Jared Leto. He's living in multiple. That. It's so good. Multiple. We should do that. You would love Mr. Nobody.
Sounds interesting.
But yeah, but I keep coming back to this idea of Christmas.
Yes.
The spirit of Christmas, and I guess it's all about love and all of that. But in my mind, Christmas ultimately is about the birth of the Savior of man, the Messiah.
Right.
And once the Messiah is born, he it's his destiny to live 33 years and then be crucified and then come back to, and by example show mankind that God exists and there is a savior and you must be worthy of him. But this movie is all about one man finding his own value, and I'm like, is that what Christmas is all about, though?
It's not about him finding his own value. It's about him realizing that if he disappears and takes his own life, that many people will suffer. That he has done so much good for his community that if he's not there, then things will not go well for his community.
So basically, the message of this movie is that I'm pretty awesome, and my awesomeness must be allowed to continue so my community benefits.
No, he doesn't even realize that he has affected so many lives. That's the beauty of it. It's not an ego thing. He's not like, ooh, I'm so awesome. If I disappear, then my town goes to shit.
Well, but he kind of sees that because
he has to see it at that point because he's about to take his own life. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. When he's not born, we find out that Bedford Falls is a shithole. It's Potter's whatever. It's not even Bedford Falls anymore.
Right.
Well, so it is Bedford Falls, and he has been taken up. He's already done all this good. So if he takes his life, the good he's already done is fine. So Bedford Falls it'll be the town that George Bailey built and will continue on even without him, right?
Well, eventually Mr. Potter will take over and it'll go downhill.
I guess so. I mean,
Plus he has all those kids to take care of.
He has a lot of kids.
And Clarence needs his wings.
And Clarence does need his wings. So, but it seems like, I'm telling you, so Clarence is doing this job because he wants his wings.
For his reward.
Heaven's going to reward you. You're not doing it because you're an angel. It's like, hey, bro, can I have my wings? And it feels like it's all about personal. I find the politics of this movie, I guess, a little odd.
What?
Well, because it's all about, I understand making individuals. Everybody wants something, like at least in heaven they do. Like I need my wings. Right, I'll go help this guy George Bailey. I'll help him realize that he shouldn't kill himself. Isn't that weird?
It's a little weird.
I think it's good.
Angels should need motivation to help people.
But they should need motivation or shouldn't? No, because they're already of God. They're
angels.
They're in the employ of the Almighty.
That's right.
I would think that'd be the ultimate job satisfaction.
Right.
Like I work directly for the big guy. Or the big girl or the big being. He's probably non-binary at this point. So, the non-binary God of the universe, if you're an angel working for him, that's got to be a good gig.
Right?
You probably have a great healthcare plan.
You wouldn't even have to worry about healthcare.
Well, that's because you have a good healthcare plan. You've got the divine plan. The divine healthcare plan. But no, I just think that I don't know. I love the idea of a human being understanding their value. And the thing is, the greatest lesson is you might not ever get the satisfaction of knowing how you've affected other people's lives.
Right. We will never know to what extent. You can think back and see instances where you have helped someone, but the little tiny things that have happened in life, you will never know.
And I don't know if you should know.
Yeah.
I think that, look, I understand that. This movie, nowadays, someone would say, this movie's making light of suicide. You shouldn't have this kind of a story. Like people are not going to be...
that?
Well, a lot of people.
Really?
In this day and age? Are you kidding? I'm sure somebody watches it. I'm sure there's some group...
Actually, it doesn't make light of suicide. It shows a man that he's valuable and that he should not commit suicide.
Well, that's true. But I think, yes, but it's kind of a comedy. It's not like this movie's really dark. It's lighthearted.
It's not a comedy. I don't think it's a comedy. I think it's pretty
all right, yes,
heavy.
But the angels are amusing. The angels aren't... They're not playing like a funeral dirge when you see the angels.
Right. Well, you wouldn't want the whole movie to be like such a downer.
No, but
you want the angel to be uplifting. That's his job.
It is his job, but okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be a little contrarian
I
about
mean,
this movie.
if he's depressing, then you might as well jump.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would be the Mel Brooks version. Yeah, well, yes, time is up. I'll go to someone else.
Might as well jump.
But yeah, no, I do love the message of this movie, but it just seems, as far as it relates to Christmas, it seems it's all about personal fulfillment. George Bailey gets fulfilled. The angel gets fulfilled. Everybody gets what they want.
No.
Except Mary.
No, it's a reflection of a bigger story of Jesus.
Like, this is an allegorical story about Jesus?
Yeah.
Really?
Which is the whole point of Christmas.
What is the whole point of... No, we have made Christmas up.
Right, but...
We made it up.
We did make it up. No, that's not true. Okay. The Christians chose this day, which was a pagan holiday, to celebrate...
So they co-opted somebody else's holiday.
They did, because people were already celebrating it, so they attached Jesus Christ's birthday to that date.
Right, because this isn't really his birthday.
It's not.
December 25th isn't really his birthday.
No.
And there's no snow in Bethlehem.
There's no snow in Bethlehem. I've been there.
So I okay, but...
Oh, man, I spilled some wine.
Well, I can't take you in. How'd you spill wine like that?
Because I was flailing my finger around and I tapped my glass.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I again, I mean, the fact that this is tied to A Christmas Carol, which is one of the great Christmas stories, is kind of the same story. I mean, but Ebenezer Scrooge, I don't think he's done right by anyone, but he's taught the value of being altruistic.
Right.
I can't
Right.
speak. How much wine have I had? But he's taught the value of helping.
Yeah.
You know, the value of charity. And that to me is a very Christian, a very Catholic, a very Christ-like thing to be, is to be charitable
Right.
to your fellow man. I mean, that was definitely one of the teachings of Christ. And I understand that at the end of the day, that's what you become.
Right.
So, but then again, but look, I love this movie. I mean, I don't mean to be bagging on it. I find it from an ideological standpoint a little muddled.
I don't think it's muddled at all.
When it comes to Christmas.
No. Nope. Not muddled.
All right. Well, I mean, it is one of the classic movies of all time. The acting is incredible. I love it's. This movie is so entertaining. It's
wonderful. And you watch it every Christmas season, and it just gives you this wonderful feeling of nostalgia because you've watched it your entire life.
But I haven't.
You didn't watch it? Was on TV every year.
I did not watch It's a Wonderful Life until later in life when I had it on Laserdisc. It was one of those movies like Singing in the Rain and even The Godfather I didn't watch till I was a young man.
But it was on TV every year.
Yeah, but I didn't watch
How
TV.
could you avoid it? You didn't watch TV.
No, I didn't watch. I know. Once I got my VCRs
How did you
when I
watch
was 13.
Star Trek?
Well, that's because it was on TV,
Yeah, you watched TV.
I didn't watch a lot of TV. I only watched very specific things. Then when I got my VCR when I was 13, I was off to the races. It was always movies. I didn't watch a lot of TV.
You don't watch. You don't. Yeah, you're more of a movie guy. That's why you don't even know like TV show references.
I know some TV show references.
Not really.
What do you mean? What's one I don't know?
Especially sitcoms. You don't. You know nothing about sitcoms.
I know nothing. That is true. I don't. I never. I do not.
I feel like
watch
you
sitcoms.
missed a whole part of growing up in the 80s.
Or I was richer for it. I had a better time in the 80s because I was busy watching movies.
But here's the thing. I watched movies and I watched TV shows.
No, see, I did not. Sitcoms didn't offer me anything interesting from a visual standpoint.
But
their stories
funny.
and I know they're funny. They offer if you want to know how to write, a sitcom is a really great way to learn to write like funny dialogue and all that. But that's, to me, it was always the same. You have the situation, because I grew up watching as a little kid. I watched sitcoms of the 60s. The I Dream of Genies, the Gilligan's Islands,
yes,
the My Three Sons or whatever. I mean, I watched the Partridge Family and the Brady Bunch. I mean, I watched all that stuff, and then I felt like I didn't need to see Mr. Belvedere to feel fulfilled in my life.
What about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Well, yeah, but it was all kind of the same thing.
That was funny.
Yeah, but you got it. You understood that. You understood. I mean, parents just don't understand. I'm in Beverly Hills. I get that. I get it. But I mean, I understand why it's a fish out of water tale. It's irresistible. But I'd rather have watched
A Full House.
And you couldn't pay me to watch Full House. The only thing about Full House that I liked was, Homegirl.
Oh, what's the one with that guy?
You're asking me what sitcom is about one guy?
No. You told me a story this morning about the Cameron. What's his name? Cameron. You said he was singing Christmas carols without a mask.
Kirk Cameron. That's how come I don't watch Full House. And Candace Cameron. Was Lori Loughlin in Full House?
No. Okay. He was not in Full House. He was on a different show, but his sister was on Full House. Mm. But what was his show? You wouldn't know because you didn't even watch.
I can't believe you're throwing these. Well, remember that sitcom? No, I don't. I knew. Well, Lori Loughlin was on Full House, right?
What about?
I was a Lori Loughlin fan because of Secret Admirer. Yeah. Now she married Massimo and is caught up in the USC scandal. She went to jail.
Wow.
Secret Admirer is one of the great unsung teen comedies of the 80s. Not a lot of people know about it.
I'm coughing. This is not good.
I know, we're coughing. We don't, that's why I say drink more.
Well, we keep doing shows if we're sick.
Yeah. Why not?
We'll be like Cuomo.
No one can get it.
We'll be like Cuomo. We'll keep doing shows.
Yeah, we'll just be in our basement. I got a day bed here. I can sleep on that.
Why? If we're all sick, we're all sick.
Well, my viral load will be less.
That's true.
Yeah.
Growing Pains. Thank you. It was Growing Pains.
Never saw an episode.
I watched all that stuff. All of it.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
I watched it all.
So the end of the movie, George Bailey is running through Bedford Falls, all happy, and he's realized his own awesomeness. He's now realized that he has value.
Yes.
And I like that. I think that's a lesson everybody needs to learn, which is why I think this film is a timeless classic.
Yeah.
Whenever you watch it, you contemplate your own life. and really, that's what Christmas is all about, too.
Family Ties. That's another one I was going to bring up.
But Family Ties, isn't that Alex Keaton, Michael J. Fox?
Yeah.
No,
Did you watch that?
I watched Little Family Ties.
You watched Family Ties?
Yeah, because Justine Bateman was on that show.
Yes.
Not Justine, but I would read the tabloids, or when I was reading, her nickname in the 80s was Just Seen, because every party in Hollywood, she was always photographed there.
Oh, really?
She's Justine Bateman.
Whatever happened to her? She disappeared.
Well, Jason Bateman's her brother.
I know.
It's not exactly like he's throwing her a bone on Ozark or something like that.
Yeah, she totally disappeared. Whatever happened to her?
She probably became a mom.
So you give up acting because you become a mom?
A lot of people don't like, I mean, acting is a tough profession, especially as a woman who's getting older. The roles after, say, 35, they're tough because going into middle age, it's hard to ask any actress. They'll tell you the same thing. Not everyone can be Meryl Streep or Diane Lane and, keep going. Justine Bateman probably didn't get there. I don't know.
I thought she was cute. I liked her a lot.
She was cute. I liked her too. And I like that was a sitcom I would watch.
Yeah, why isn't she on Ozark?
I don't know.
She should come play his sister.
No.
She shows up.
No.
What season are we on now? Hey, when is that coming out?
I don't know, but it's season 4. It's an extended. It's the final season.
Final season.
Final season. We're off track.
I'm sorry.
We're supposed to be talking about.
We were talking about TV, so.
Which, yes. I mean, it'd be like me talking about Airport 77 because Jimmy Stewart's at Airport 77, Mary. Let's talk about that.
Well, it all comes back to you did not grow up watching this movie, which is mind-blowing because it was on TV every single year.
I know, but I didn't, to me, watching a bunch of Gentiles figure out their worth was not something I was interested in. I was Jewish. I already knew I was chosen.
Jews believe in angels, too. Come on.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that we know that we're better than most people, and George Bailey had to realize it himself.
So Jewish people don't commit suicide?
No, I didn't say that. I was making a joke. Come on.
I know.
So, but no, I think the message of this movie is that people have value that they're not always aware that they have.
Right.
And
exactly.
I think that's one of the great messages. I think that in the same way that Rod Serling used fantasy to convey important messages to people, that rather than be preachy about it, he would use, these kinds of stories so people would all see themselves. We're all George Bailey.
Yeah. It's true.
And yes, everyone's seen this movie a million times. And to
Except
recount
for MC Blank Cap.
Black Cap.
Black Cap. Never watched this movie.
What?
Have you still never seen this movie?
Well, the thing about that, what's interesting
Come on,
about
man.
this is a great example of a movie that came out in 1946 that people might think, oh, it's old, I'm not going to watch it, it's black and white.
Oh man, I gobbled that stuff
Yeah,
up.
well, when you watch
any
this,
movie,
look, if you can be adult and mature enough to sit down and give this movie 10 minutes, just give it 10 minutes of your time, you're in.
But there's so many great black and white movies.
Yes, half of Hollywood is black and white movies, and they're amazing.
I watched it all. Anything that came on TV, I watched.
Well, yeah, but we missed out on a lot of movies too because they weren't on TV.
Well, the ones that were.
And all the sitcoms too.
And I would stay up late. Like those black and white films would come on really, really late.
No, I know. But I think that I think that this movie still has a lot to say. I think it's as resonant now as it was in 1946. I mean, what are we looking? We're looking at 46, so that would make this movie. Oh, wow, it's old. Like if you go back.
You've seen it. He's seen it.
Oh, he has seen it. Okay. Well, of course, just making sure. Black Phillip Alvarez says Lori Loughlin's in prison right now. That's so sad.
Well, I mean, what did she do?
She paid like $500,000 to have her daughters
right.
let into
Yes,
USC.
that's right. That just happened.
Which I love because what a great
come on,
metaphor
man.
for the
That's
modern
so
age.
Rude.
Don't have your children work for college.
Yeah, what the hell?
Like your parents are going to get them into college. They're not. Do you think that by getting into USC, you're suddenly going to make your kids
and how
academically
long is she going to be in
inclined?
there? Like a year?
No, like 6 weeks.
6
She's
weeks?
probably out next week.
Come on, man. Don't feel sorry for her.
Well, I do because I always see her as the character in Secret Admirer who should have been with C. Thomas Howell from the beginning, but C. Thomas Howell preferred Kelly Preston, and she's no longer with us at all. So anyway, I feel like this analysis of this film went in a different direction, but I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed
Well, you
it.
kind of pushed it in a different direction.
Well, to recount the plot of this movie that everybody's seen 187,000 times. I mean,
yeah.
to take you through every minute of it, I think the question about whether it's a Christmas movie or not is pertinent, especially after we did Die Hard.
Yeah, Die Hard, not so much a Christmas movie. This is definitely a Christmas movie.
Yeah, but if you really think about it, in Die Hard, if you want to reframe it, Hans Gruber and his men are angels, and they're what they're doing is they're making John McClane through this course of this experience realize just how much he loves his wife and how much he really wants to get back.
That's really selfish.
Well, see,
that's all about him and his life.
Well, that's my.
This is more about This is about George Bailey's entire
Life.
community.
Well, I mean, you could say that the entire Nakatomi
No, it is not.
All right, well.
And the
I don't wanna go
terrorists are
reaching.
not angels.
Well, they're devils then, but either way, they're sent from the afterlife or they're dispatched.
You're really stretching it now.
I know. Well, listen, we have letters. We have letters to read, and would you believe that one of them is from Omar 94?
No.
Allow me to put on my readers because I'm so old. So we have this one comes from Omar 94. Hi, Rob and Elysabeth. It's a Wonderful Life is arguably the quintessential Christmas movie. This movie to me is always a delight to watch. Now, by the way, Omar 94 today wrote in a letter and talked about he's Muslim. So Christmas was something that
Interesting.
so it is interesting. This movie to me is always a delight to watch. The ending always tugs at my heartstrings when I hear the line, "The richest man in town." Then reading what is written on the card, the bell then ringing and James Stewart looking up and winking.
Yeah.
Interestingly, while It's a Wonderful Life is now a classic and a beloved film, it received mixed reviews and flopped at the box office when it was originally released in 1946. However, 3 decades later, during the Christmas season of 1976, it started appearing on TV a lot, then finally striking a chord with people. Frank Capra himself called It's a Wonderful Life his favorite movie he's ever made, and would screen it for his family every Christmas season. The film has also impacted pop culture in a big way. Regardless of the Christmas setting, we still see countless parodies and imitations of the film's story structure, about a guardian angel who helps someone who has lost his or her way by showing him or her how life would be without him or her. All in all, It's a Wonderful Life is definitely a movie worth talking about for the Christmas season of whining about movies. It might have been a bit strange if you did not pick it up. It might have been a bit strange if you did not pick it as a movie to discuss, unless you both disliked it. Thanks, and live long and prosper.
Yeah, for me, this is the ultimate Christmas movie.
That is true.
Yeah.
It is. Look, I was just playing devil's advocate. To me, when you think name a Christmas movie, this is the movie that there is no other movie.
Well, and the Christmas Carol.
Well, yeah, there's all about there's a Love Actually, and there's
but
The Holiday.
Yes, those are.
When Harry Met Sally even has Christmas scenes, I think of When Harry Met Sally as a New Year's movie.
That's not a Christmas movie.
They go get. It is so sad when Sally Albright is trying to get the Christmas tree by herself because Harry Burns they're not hanging out.
But it's not a Christmas movie.
It's about two people that finally find the love that they.
It is not a Christmas.
I know it. That's
movie.
why it's a New Year's Eve movie.
Oh, how do you deduce that?
Because at the end they have New Year's Eve together. At the very end of the movie is when.
So that makes it a New Year's Eve movie.
And when Harry Met Sally has one of the greatest.
It's a love story.
Yeah, but it has one of the greatest scenes. Yes, it's a love story that's all about the New Year.
I don't think it has a season because it goes through.
Well, it has all seasons, but
it goes
but I would
through
say,
a huge span of time.
When you ask me to tell you about, when you ask me to tell you about what I think about a New Year's Eve movie, I think of two movies.
I don't think of New Year's Eve as movie-wise. Like, I don't think that there's movies attached to New Year's Eve.
Well, I think When Harry Met Sally is attached to New Year's Eve, and I was going to suggest watching it next week. Well, we already did watch it.
We did it already.
Oh, well. What are you going to... Hey, you've done 105 movies.
You forgot.
Forget. But I came here tonight because when you want the rest of your life to start right now. You see? Anyway. All right, so Tom Jr. Jackson writes in, "Hello, Rob and Ace. Here we are at the cusp of the pinnacle of the holiday season. Thursday is my birthday, and I turned 45.
Well, happy birthday.
Here's to you, Tom. Cheers to you. There goes Jesus just honing in on my birthday. Just kidding. You know what, though? When I was a kid, if I knew kids who had their birthdays on Christmas Eve, I'm like, oh, you got gypped.
Yeah. Gypped. All of my two nieces and my nephew were all born in December.
Yeah.
It is really sad.
It's sad. I've been watching a show for a while. The first episode I watched was Sing Street. Now, I'd heard of this movie because a little theater in town would show it every now and then. So after watching the episode, I went and purchased it on Vudu, and it is now in my digital collection. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
That someone discovered Sing Street because of our show.
Sing Street is awesome.
So now he's solved the riddle of the model.
Yes, he has.
I enjoyed the episode on Rosemary's Baby. We all know what happened to that baby. It ended up in the White House. Okay, back to the letter. By the way, that's not my joke. That's his joke. My favorite thing about this episode was you, Rob, telling Ace that you wanted to join a satanic cult. And the look on her face and her telling people not to send you offers. And you begging people had me in tears. I love the banter between you and Ace and the fact that you are teaching me about not only loving films, but teaching me about the art of fine wine. This is the greatest letter we've ever got.
This is awesome.
I also love the episode on Possessor Uncut. The chat game of adding peen, to a movie title had me in so many tears from laughing. Watching Rob's Observations, whining about movies, Let's Get Physical Media, and your latest show on action figures, to me, makes me feel welcome among friends. Oh, that's the best. Who are like-minded about film and such. I want to thank you and Ace I love that she's calling you Ace. For letting myself and the many other imagination connoisseurs into your observatory and becoming friends with you both. I may have sent you a letter saying something similar, but I can't remember. Look, I'm 45 years old, and shh, don't tell anyone I feel young at heart. You and I park our shuttlecrafts in the same shuttle bay. I'd like to recommend a small film for WINEning called Local Hero. It is a Scottish film.
Ooh.
It has Peter Riegert and Burt Lancaster in it, and it is fantastic, in my opinion. It's right up there with Sing Street. Look for it and check it out.
Wow, have you seen it?
Would it surprise you to know
Okay, here's my question.
that I own Local Hero on
But
Blu-ray?
here's my
It's
question.
Criterion, too.
How many copies of it do you
Only
own?
one.
Wow.
Only one. I have the Criterion copy. But by the way, a fairly recent release. We should absolutely watch Local Hero.
Yeah, I would watch that.
Before I end this letter, I apologize for the length, but I get passionate about film. Another thing I'm passionate about is something we park our ship in the same hangar is the Beatles. Rob, I could talk for hours with you about them, classic and timeless, and A Hard Day's Night still holds up. Now, if anyone is a Beatles fan, you got to know that Peter Jackson is currently working on a documentary. He acquired, I think it's 55 hours of footage.
You're kidding.
No one had ever seen this. A director shot the recording sessions of Let It Be.
Whoa.
And Peter Jackson this week dropped it's not really a trailer, but dropped a sampling of what they're doing.
Whoa, I can't wait.
It's amazing. I've never seen any video footage of the Beatles like this. I can't wait to see it.
Wow.
But it's coming out, so check it out. I can't wait. So to sum it all up, congrats on well over 100 episodes of WINEning. Die Hard is a Christmas film. Sorry, Ace. But in case you didn't know, you can rent out the Christmas Story House and stay the night in it, because now it's a museum. It would make a good place to do WINEing from sometime.
Really? That's in my hometown.
Take care and enjoy your Christmas. All the best, Tom. Well, Tom, what a
I
fantastic
didn't
letter.
know that it became a museum and that you could rent it.
I did not either. I just used to work with Ralphie.
That's in Cleveland. That's in my hometown.
Well, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
I'm sad we didn't end up doing that, talking about that movie.
Okay, well, that's true. Let's go and see what people are saying. Bob Kowal here. Bob Kowal, our man who did the greatest Halloween house ever. Ace and RMB. Do you recall my letter about the Capra effect? So great to see it in full effect with this movie. Of all the films I have known, this was the most human. Happy holidays. Well, Bob, let's drink to you.
Happy holidays.
The king of Halloween, Mr. Bob Kowal.
Maybe he loves Christmas just as much.
I think he does. Anyone who loves, well, he's, his whole house is the nightmare before Christmas.
Did you give me more wine?
I did. Would you like some more?
A little bit. Not too much. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'll kill the bottle then. Not too much left anyway. It's Christmas time. Andrew Christie sends in that's a very nice tip, Andrew. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys. I recommend Bread and Butter Cabernet Cab Sauv if you haven't tried it before.
Haven't.
$15 per bottle. Tastes like 100.
Oh, okay.
Camus. All right, well,
We'll have to try
we'll
that.
Have to get
I'll
that.
look for it.
Bread and Butter.
Bread and butter.
Our man Claudius is here. Bonjour, Elysabeth et Robert.
Hello.
I Think It's a Wonderful Life is a Christmas story modeled on A Christmas Carol. That's what we're talking about, which is about choosing to do good, helping others, and the domino effect of good, of the good of those choices. No, I agree. I think it absolutely is, and that's the thing that always strikes me. I'm always thinking, because as a kid, I'll tell you something. One of my favorite stories was A Christmas Carol.
Right.
I loved when after I turned like 4 or 5, we didn't celebrate Christmas anymore in my house, but I loved Christmas shows and Christmas music, and I used to always take the bus downtown by myself to go through all the department
when
stores.
You were 4 or 5?
No, when I got to be like 10 and 11. No, I'd go down. I'd do Christmas shopping, but I love to go through all the big department stores and see all the Christmas decorations and go in the toy departments. Because they always had the electric train sets you could play with and stuff.
Well, yeah, my mom would take us to downtown Cleveland, and there was a department store called Higbee's. And if you're from Cleveland and you're my age, you'll know. And they had a Santa's shop. and it was like this store just for kids. So your mom would bring you there and drop you off, and you would go in, and it had this little door, and she would put money in an envelope for you, and you would go in and you would buy gifts for your parents without them knowing what you were buying.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it was at Higbee's downtown.
Higbee's. I like that. Julian M says, there's a bit of Last Temptation of Christ here also. There is.
Yes.
Because that's the temptation. Come off that cross. Let me show you you could have this life if you want it. Also, with Potter as the devil and George's moment of doubt on the bridge, mirroring Jesus on the cross. Well, there you go. Also, the redemption story of George's position, a positive effect on the people in his life as Jesus redeemed mortal man. Yeah, I definitely think that's there.
It is, for sure.
That's definitely there.
Absolutely.
Very astute, Julian. I agree. Claudius says, Capra's George Bailey is also a messianic figure. Think of Jesus feeling overwhelmed and sadness and anguish as he prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane. Gethsemane?
Yes.
He says, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, and an angel comes to strengthen him. Yeah, I think that's all there.
Yeah.
Boy, it's getting to be more of a Christmas movie the more I think about it. But of course...
Are you convinced?
But of course, this is after Jesus is here. But I guess he's eternal, so... Warren Wright sends in a super chat and says, second favorite movie to watch on Christmas Eve aside from Die Hard.
Jeez.
Family tradition. Let's hear it for watching Die Hard on Christmas Eve.
I used to like Die Hard, and then it was pushed on me every Christmas, and I'm like, I don't like it so much.
So look, if you watch our show, somebody said posted a comment saying you looked grumpy during the Die Hard show. That you looked grumpy. Were you grumpy? Were you grumpy during the Die Hard show?
No comment.
Well, how can you... I mean, Die Hard, come on. Die Hard, the ode
because
to joy.
Because once again, when we discussed doing Christmas movies, you immediately went to Die Hard, and it had to be the first one we talked about for the Christmas season. And again, it felt like this movie was pushed on me as a Christmas movie.
It was. I did. Absolutely. I'm 100% guilty. And didn't you have fun doing it?
Sure.
Oh, man. So Warren Wright. Hey, look, Candida's here. The second half of the official couple of the Burnettwork. Bonsoir, friends. I've watched this film every year around Christmas since I was a child.
Yes.
Claudius watched it with me for 6 years until Spencer was born. Now Spencer and Claude watch Nightmare Before Christmas, A Christmas Story, and Elf.
Oh, okay.
Let's hear it for Spencer and Claude. But tell me Spencer's seen It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you know.
Nightmare Before Christmas, that's awesome. A Christmas Story, awesome. Elf, I never liked that movie. Never.
Well, I think it might be a Will Ferrell thing. Elf is pretty damn funny.
You're right. But I just don't like that kind of comedy. It just rubs me the wrong way.
Okay.
What can I say?
I don't know. I mean, it rubs you the wrong way. Captain Claudius says, oh, man, are you going to tell me Generations is a Christmas movie? Captain Claudius says, Star Trek Generations was released November 18th, 1994, arguably the Christmas season. Within the Nexus, Picard imagines a Christmas celebration with his family. Kirk and Picard return from the Nexus, and Kirk sacrifices himself to save the universe. Star Trek Generations is not a Christmas movie. That it was everything that happens in that movie. The fantasies that Picard and Kirk have in that film are wrong. They're both wrong. Picard never wanted to be at home with his family on Christmas with a bunch of kids running around. That was a conceit the writers came up with because they were too tired. They were writing.
Yeah, but see, Claude is using the same argument that you would use for Die Hard. I'm sorry, it's not a Christmas movie. Just saying.
We already proved why Die Hard is in fact a Christmas movie.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You know.
Justin Toner's here, our own Justin Toner. Merry Christmas, Rob and Elysabeth. Ever seen the SNL skit where William Shatner introduces the lost ending to It's a Wonderful Life? Hilarious. Yes, I have.
Oh,
Yes,
I don't know if I have.
But I don't recall
I
it.
probably have, but don't remember it.
I forgot they did the whole William Shatner the restaurant thing, the Star Trek
I'm
restaurant.
going to look that up as soon as we're done.
I know.
Because I got to see that.
Tim is here. Tim says, one of my favorite Christmas traditions is to watch Lawrence of Arabia every year on Christmas Eve. I've done it for decades. No idea how I got started doing it, but it's a tradition. My girlfriend's a bit over it, but oh well. Well, that's because Lawrence of Arabia takes place closer to Bethlehem.
Yeah.
It's in the Middle East.
That's right.
So there you go.
I could totally see that as a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie.
We should watch it.
What, Lawrence of Arabia?
Yeah.
I have it on 4K. We could watch. That's one of my spoiler alert. One of my releases of the year is one of the discs of the year for physical media.
And what number copy is this now?
It's my second. I have the big box set. It's the second time I've got Lawrence of Arabia in a box set.
You have 2 box sets.
Well, one is the Columbia box that has other movies in it. But then I have the dedicated Lawrence of Arabia Blu-ray box set that's quite nice, which can now be replaced.
Oh boy!
I just, one day you'll see the light. Zevius, my man Zevius is here, cracking a second bottle of wine here with my girlfriend and enjoying the heck out of you guys as always. Warmest wishes to all, and looking forward to a New Year's Eve. We're gonna have a great New Year's Eve party, by the way. We're going to have a combination. We're doing a New Year's Eve stream starting at 8 o'clock Pacific time. I'd probably start it at 7, but I don't think I could make it 5 hours. I'd be drunk as a skunk. I have to pace myself. No, I don't usually get drunk on the... But we figured, why not have a big, New Year's Eve stream?
Yeah, if we're able to get out of bed.
Come on. We'll be able to get out of bed. Look, I'm convinced half the people could solve their COVID problems by just drinking heavily. No, I don't mean to make light of COVID.
No.
I'm just trying to hope. But I'm trying to cheer myself up, thinking we don't have a terminal disease.
Look, first of all, I think that we're going to be okay, even if we do have it, because first of all, we're very positive people.
Right. That's the first thing a pandemic virus.
No, it helps your mental. Yes.
I can only imagine. Can you see the viral particles going, oh my God, they're positive people,
no,
run!
It's not that.
Run!
It's your immune system is stronger because you're not a negative person.
I agree with that. That's why, remember you said I don't get sick very much?
You don't.
It's because my unbelievable positivity, my joy and everything.
True. It's true. I believe that.
I mean, what's so great is I got to talk about, for 2.5 hours, action figures today.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But, yeah.
But what?
You said that I could open this.
Okay, you know what? I barely could open that. It would have been bad. But it was great. I got to dust this guy.
How about I choose the ones that I'm
how about the fact you must be happy, this has been in the kitchen for months.
It has been on the kitchen table.
I mean, I kid you not, because
Did you show them what Sophie did to his hand?
No, she did that to Ultron, and I did, so.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and
I thought she did it to both of them.
She did. But it was so great because I Swiffered him. I mean, look at this. I got to put this on. How cool is this? This screams Christmas to me, doesn't it? Quarter scale Terminator endoskeleton.
That's not Christmas.
But it was, because it's like playing with your toys. But what you were talking about is this is Ultron. What Sophie did this to my Ultron. This is my 6-scale Hot Toys Ultron. And we walked in the kitchen one day, and Sophie had made Ultron flip everybody off. And what was really funny is your Adventist mom comes over one day, and you had actually come and put his middle finger down.
Yeah, I'm like, this cannot be like this with my mother. No, because she saw the full-scale rocking machine.
The Herman McKink's rocking machine.
The full-scale one, which is this big.
It's gigantic. And it has a thing in it, so it goes like this, just like in Clockwork Orange.
She was appalled. She told me to get that thing out of my house.
Well, you did. You got it in the garage.
Do you know where it is now? It's in the attic.
No, isn't it down here?
No, it's in the attic.
Well, I don't know what to say. All right. Mr. Bailey had a story to tell. Thank heavens that Clarence listened. Happy holy days to you beautiful people. Happy holidays. Well, here's to you too. Andrew Christie says the alcohol clears the toxins. Why, yes, it does.
Yeah, wine, yes, especially wine. It's very good for you.
Warren Wright. Hello, Warren. How are you? Best show on YouTube.
Thank you.
Clinking glasses 4 times to the Ace and Rob. Well, thank you, Warren. Appreciate that. By the way, our next movie is Saturday night, and we're not going to move it. We're doing Tenet.
Even if we're like coughing and...
Yeah, I have never seen Tenet. I own Tenet, and I've never seen it. How can that be?
How can that be?
For he is the Cuisac Satellite.
Because we didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, we haven't gone anywhere, and apparently it came to us.
Yeah, well, we have people that in that age bracket that people. I can't call them kids. Like, are they kids? Not really.
Well,
I mean, one is 17. She's still a minor, but the other one is not.
Jason, my man Jason Spriggs is here. Jason, Raygun Media Productions, who has done all the great graphics. Between Zevius and Jason Spriggs, I got my graphic needs covered. I got to get them all paying gigs.
Yeah.
So, Raygun Media says, speaking of angels and redemption, would you consider reviewing Bedazzled? The Stanley Donen, it's a great movie. I don't own it. The Stanley Donen, Peter Cook, Dudley Moore version. Also, Alfie. What's it all about, Alfie? Not the Jude Law version. The original Michael Caine version of Alfie.
I tried to watch that a couple times, remember?
Oh, yeah, you didn't like it very much.
I don't know. I couldn't get through the first
It's
part.
a little British.
I love British stuff.
But you didn't like Alfie?
I don't know. Maybe because, I don't know. I'd have to watch it again.
Well, we could.
We should.
Claudius McLean. John McClane seeing Rob's Clockwork Orange rocking machine. If this is the Ace's idea of Christmas, I gotta be here for New Year's.
Talk about peen.
Oh, come on, let's. That's a woman's ass that gives way to a peen.
That's a peen.
Okay, well.
And yeah, you think that's an ass, but what does it also look like?
Well, I get it, but that's not what it is. And, you know, it's an important work of art. Stanley Kubrick found it in the London Gallery.
Why are we talking about this right now?
I don't know, because
We're
it
talking
just...
about A Wonderful Life. Come on, PG.
Or Wonderful Life. One of the great references for this movie is in Exorcist 3. It's a Wonderful Life. He used 2 L's. People are like, what does Exorcist 3 have to do with It's a Wonderful Life? Ah, well... Exorcist 3 is a very divine movie. There's angels in that movie, too. One of them played by Fabio, and the other one played by Patrick Ewing.
Fabio's an angel.
In Exorcist 3. I'm not kidding. I know. And Patrick Ewing. If I go to heaven, I want to meet Patrick Ewing and Fabio as angels. That would be good. Well, so listen, like we're coming to the end of our show. We're over time. This was a good, fun Christmas, even though we've done 2 Christmas movies either side. You know, it's like the scales of Christmas justice. Die Hard on one side, It's a Wonderful Life on the other.
Yeah, they're definitely polar.
But you could say that they're bonded together through certain...
They're not bonded.
Well, they could be. So, on a scale of... What is our bottoms up scale?
Our bottoms up scale is from 1 to 4 glasses. Because
1 to 4
there
glasses.
are 4 glasses in a bottle.
4 glasses in a bottle, yes.
Yes, so...
Well, on a scale of 1 to 4 glasses, what would you give It's a Wonderful Life?
I'm going to give it 4 glasses.
Yeah, this movie is, I think, beyond reproach. It gets 4 glasses from this faux Jew who was adopted into a Jewish family, even though I've got German, French, and Irish blood.
Yeah.
Which makes me pretty much Christmas through and through. But, you know, I'm circumcised and bar mitzvahed, so hey.
Don't you love celebrating Christmas?
I do. I love Christmas. I'm not one of these people that's, I'm not going to celebrate Christmas. I mean, come on.
Yeah, don't you love putting the star on the top of the tree?
Tell everybody about how I did that.
This year was amazing because it was like a kind of a long branch at the top of the tree. And Rob went to put the star. He carefully, this took him like 30 minutes to put the lights into the star. And he was trying to
supposed to go there.
he was trying to get lights into every point of the star, which he succeeded. It took him about 30 minutes. And then he put the tree on the top of the star and on top of the tree. And it kind of started leaning over like this. And it's like the Who trees in
Yeah, I
in
think
the Grinch.
before Christmas I'll have to cut that down. And
It's too late. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve.
it's not too late.
I like it. It's leaning like this.
No, you can't see how I got the lights in the 5 points.
You can.
And
It's
I had to
just
stick them in. That was a hard thing to do because I had to take the string of lights and I had to stuff the string in so it could come in and out of the thing. It was, and you're like, what are you doing? I'm like, no, you're going to love it.
I was like, just put the star on the tree.
I'm like, the star didn't have lights in it. That was the whole point. Let's light it up. Let's
It's beautiful.
illuminate it. Let's get it
You
illuminated.
did a nice job, babe.
Thanks, babe. I'm glad I did a nice. You do a nice, very nice. We have a very nice tree.
I love Christmas, so.
There's what's interesting about Elizabeth is she has boxes, big, huge plastic bins
Yeah.
of rubber bins of
Lots
Christmas.
of bins.
Lots of bins and they're just full of Christmas. That's all they are.
It's been like, well, I've been on my own, left my parents when I was 23. So it's been 23 since I was 23 collecting Christmas things.
You have a lot of Christmas things.
I do.
Well, that's good. So, Warren Wright says, a shout out to all the administrators, the moderators. Well, thank you for that. We have a
Yes,
great
thank
moderating
you.
staff. Well, I guess, okay. Uh-oh. Richard says, oh, Christmas peen. Oh, Christmas peen.
That's blasphemous.
That's terrible.
That's hilarious.
What?
It is kind of phallic.
What?
The Christmas tree.
The Christmas tree's not phallic.
It's like this.
Are you saying a tree standing upright is phallic?
I don't know. Richard
How
started
much wine
it.
have you had?
I did pregame a little bit.
Oh, so it now comes out. Well,
Anyway,
if anything, a Christmas tree looks like a big pine butt plug.
can we bring
More
this
so
back
than
to...
okay. I'm just
Wait.
oh, just gotta watch out. Don't want to spill my wine. What's left of it? Just saying.
Can we bring this back to something a little more
It's Christmas.
PG?
It's Christmas time.
Yeah, Christmas is for
You
everyone.
don't have to be afraid. Christmas is for everyone.
I feel bad that we went down that road.
Well, you brought up the
Richard.
fact... Yeah, Richard started it. Hang some balls on the Christmas peen.
This is bad. I don't want to end. Come on, this is about It's a Wonderful Life. How did we go down this road? I feel dirty.
Boy, it's getting bad. Yeah, you guys, come on.
I feel dirty.
It's not. This is not good. We're gonna bring it back. We want to celebrate the joy
Come
of
on,
Christmas,
let's bring it
peace
back.
on earth, and
Come
goodwill
on,
to men.
everyone.
You know what? You know what else? To me, Charlie Brown Christmas, Lineth
Oh my God.
Lineth's final speech.
That is one of my
About
favorites.
goodwill
I
to
love
men.
peanuts. And what did I get this year? What did I find?
You found that our bark box was a Peanuts bark box.
But not only that, what did I buy at the grocery store? I put him on the table, and he sings.
Oh yeah, you got the Snoopy
Snoopy.
that sings.
And he lights up, too.
But I think Charlie Brown Christmas is one of my favorite pieces of
It's
Christmas media.
so good.
And they thought it wasn't good at
And
first.
the music.
Yeah.
I play that music every year.
The Vince Giraldi trio.
It's so good.
It is good. But Linus's speech knocks
Yeah.
it out of the park.
No, that is a really good Christmas movie.
Warren Wright says, a shout out to you.
Well, here's to you.
Shout out to you. All right. Well, then I guess we're going to end this.
Yes.
So, we should say, I think it's important to say that for everybody watching, it's been great to do this show. It was born out of the pandemic. This is our 105th show. We wouldn't keep doing this if we didn't have a great audience. And I want to thank everybody, all of you, for the generous support, not just with super chats or tips and that, but the letters you guys and girls and gentle beings and kind people have written. But everybody that has commented and been so supportive of the ACE.
Yeah, I read all the comments, and most of the time I read the chat. Not always, but...
If nothing else, during this all lockdown period, this show has been a lot of fun to do with you.
It's so much fun.
It's so much fun, and I feel like, you know, we've bonded, like we talked about. You and I have bonded over this, and
We have.
and we've had a lot of fun, and to meet people. I mean, interacting with Claude and Candida, and people like Julius and Kaz Graphics, and
Yes.
people sending us stuff, which is amazing. I mean, we had so many people send us good wines and cheeses, and
Yes.
we're very much appreciative of all of that. So we want to thank you. All of you have made this. Well, these last months have not exactly been. We've tried to keep it up, like we've tried to keep our spirits up, but there's been times when I feel like, you know, I should go outside and have a primal scream or something, because I feel like nothing has changed since the end of February, which is such a strange thing. It's so strange. But when I look back, and people are going back and watching these episodes because it's fun. Like I had somebody
the first ones we were pre-gaming before every show.
Well, yeah,
And not just wine. Like we were pre-gaming.
we were doing shots.
Liquor. Yeah, we were doing shots.
Liquor. I don't even know her. Yes, we were doing liquor.
Yeah.
But that was good. We had whiskey.
We have whiskey.
And people would
gin.
send us, booze.
Yeah. Some of those shows, I was like
Yeah, but they were fun.
toast by the end of it.
But fun. So
Yeah.
anyway, I want to thank all of you for that. Oh, Candida says, Rob, bins of Christmas things is not abnormal, but Claude does have an excessive amount of nutcracker soldiers.
I have
They
a lot of
might
nutcrackers, too.
outnumber the stormtroopers soon. Well, you should do a
Whoa.
display where the nutcracker soldiers are fighting the stormtroopers. I mean that would be it would be like a candy cane. Stormtroopers are white, and the nutcracker soldiers have the red, I guess, white on them. But what a great juxtaposition! Talk about a great peppermint explosion of awesomeness. Come on, Candida, you gotta let's see that. I want to see a picture of the stormtroopers versus the nutcrackers.
Yes.
I mean, would it be funny if the Empire sat down on a planet where all the sentient life forms were nutcrackers? You could do a whole story about that, the Great Nutcracker Uprising against
That
the
would
Empire.
be great.
Yeah, it'd be an adjunct to the whole rebellion. The Nutcrackers, I would. You got to do a whole photo essay about that.
Yeah, that's
and they have
awesome.
enough. They have enough toys, Star Wars toys, that they could have the rebels come in and help. Maybe a Y-wing will drop a bomb over the. I'd love to see that.
But
The Nutcrackers
nutcrackers aren't bad guys.
No, the Nutcrackers are the rebels rising up against the evil Empire.
Oh, okay.
To celebrate Christmas on a
Yes.
planet where the Empire's taking Christmas away.
Yes. I'm all for it.
So, the Nutcrackers, if they have an overwhelming force against the onslaught of stormtroopers, that's okay.
I love that.
Now I'm obsessed with this idea. I want to
Do
see
you
it.
have stormtroopers?
Yeah, but I don't have any Nutcrackers.
We have tons of. Have you not paid attention?
I know, but those are all different sizes. I don't have enough. I've got 4 stormtroopers. I mean, I'm talking. I need a whole.
We have about a dozen nutcrackers.
Yeah, well, that's an overwhelming force, and they would crack the nuts of the stormtroopers.
They sure would.
Anyway,
Stormtroopers are pretty easy to kill.
well, I know, and they shouldn't be. They should be more formidable. Claudia says the world would be a darker place without ELYSAVIEWS. You guys have put a lot of joy in the world. Merry Christmas,
Aw,
guys. Well,
thank
Merry
you.
Christmas
Merry
to the first
Christmas.
couple of the Burnettwork, Claude and Candida, and to I guess Spencer would be the first son.
Yeah.
But I want to see the Nutcrackers versus the Stormtroopers, Candida. Come on, get on that. Make my Christmas a happy one. So, Warren Wright says, okay, one more is Peen Romance. That's my mic drop. Oh. Peen Romance. Wasn't that a Lady Gaga song? Uh-oh. That was bad romance.
Oh, man.
Anyway, I think it's time to get off before we do something anti-Christmas.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
peace on earth and goodwill to men, women, and gentle folks across the 28 known galaxies. I
Yeah.
think I'll probably be back tomorrow and do a show.
You should.
I'll do a show.
Yeah. But
I'll
I
do
won't
it.
see you till after Christmas, so Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas.
We'll be there. We'll be back Saturday night,
Saturday
the
night.
26th. We'll be here for Boxing Day. We don't celebrate that, but
Right.
we'll be here for Boxing Day. Well, cheers to all of you. Hoist a glass.
Cheers.
Whatever you believe, wherever you may be, please have a good Christmas. Please stay safe
Stay safe.
and watch some movies and drink some wine.
Yep.
And I want to thank my moderating staff for, we'll see them before the end of the year, but I want to thank them for all that they do. I want to thank the Richard. I want to thank MC Blackcap. I want to thank Joshua Levesque, Justin Toner. Who else is here? MC Blackcap, did I already say that? Bunyan Snipe is here from the UK. And thank all of you for doing what you do. Because without you, I don't think the peen thing would have even started.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
anyway, and everybody watch Love Actually.
Oh, so good.
And watch The Holiday.
Yes.
All
the ones we were going to talk about and never did.
And watch A Christmas Story.
A Christmas Story.
Maybe next year if we're still doing this. All right, then. Remember, take us out.
Everyone you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear, and all you have to do is listen.
And with that, we say what?
Have a better night.
Or have a butter knife if you're BL Alley.
Yep. Good night.
Merry Christmas.